1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Follow the leader.
Oh my God.
Follow the leader. 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 Follow the leader.
Hey Zoe, I'm calling your show, 'cause I need to know. Show me which way to go before I throw my man out the door.
Okay, hold on a second, Keisha. Just let me ask Ronald exactly what's going on, because it takes two to tango, and I need to hear his side of the story.
So she's driving me insane, got stress heavy on my brain. She keeps playing silly games, man, I'm about to bring the pain. We seem to fuss and fight every day and every night. Please give some advice so we can see the light, see the light.
Attachment theory describes the way that everyone relates to others. Now be sure to check out some of my other videos in this series for an in-depth look at the different attachment styles. One of the main attachment styles is called secure. It's characterized by a person who views themselves and others appropriately. In many ways, it is a balanced view of how to relate to others and to yourself. So for example, how should you be there for someone else? And what can you expect them to do for you? How content are you with yourself? And where does the responsibility lie for growing or maturing as a person? Can you differentiate one relationship from another, or are you living out past hurts and negative interactions through your present relationships? All these questions, and especially the reflections they foster, are at the heart of attachment theory. As Christians, we should be grateful for these observations and the way that modern psychology has sought to put into practice a foundational truth about God and how He designed us, even if they're not aware that that's what they're doing. God has always been in relationship with Himself. It's not surprising then that He made us in His triune image to exist in relationship with ourselves, others, and especially Him. At the heart of attachment theory is the idea that in relationship, we can get what we need, or we can be attuned to someone else. There is a trust that one can have with another to be secure and provided for, at least most of the time. If there's a conflict, disappointment, or some type of rupture in the relationship, then the other person can be counted on to try and repair, to make things right again. Now, where would a strong fundamental...
Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. y'all thought that somehow the voice of reason would stop with these wide-ranging topics. This is a topic that must be had. It must be dealt with. Man, I couldn't even sleep last night. I was up walking around my neighborhood at 3, 4 in the morning because of this topic. Can early childhood insecure attachment styles negatively affect your relationship with God? See, I think you guys play too much. Y'all don't understand when I say relationships are everything. To be is to relate, right? Relationship. We're in a relationship with Earth, with its atmosphere. Do you understand? With the water, with the soil. Do you understand? So many people say, oh, I got a relationship with God. Me and my relationship with God is fine. But yet, we'll still suppress, right? Or repress, I should say, their negative emotions, negative feelings about things. You can't do yourself. Your relationship with yourself can't be like that, and you still have a good relationship with God. I know this is going to be difficult tonight. Can early childhood attachment styles that are maladaptive negatively affect your relationship with God? An intriguing look at the impact of early childhood attachment styles on relationship with self, on the relationship with self and God. Are you securely or insecurely attached to God? We got questions. I want you to think about it. 4 attachment styles. Only one is secure. The other 3 are insecure. There are different variations of insecure attachment. You have dismissive, or you have avoidant, and then you have anxious. Okay? You have anxious preoccupied. That's one style of maladaptive or insecure attachment style. Right? That's the anxious style. There's only one anxious style, but there are 2 avoidant styles. One is dismissive avoidance. Okay? The other one is fearful avoidant, also known as disorganized. The fearful avoidant contains 2 wounds, 2 core wounds. The anxious has a fear wound. Do you understand? The dismissive has a rejection wound, a fear of rejection wound. So they've conditioned themselves to become independent and avoidant. The fearful avoidant has both fear, right? The anxious and the avoidant wound. So they're clingy and independent simultaneously, from moment to moment, from second to second, from situation to situation, if they are triggered. Or as Attila might say, they feel the ick. Does one's trust in God falter when their desires are unmet? While anxiety and doubt arise when expectations are not fulfilled by a higher power, are you only cool with God when he's giving you what you want? Oof. True or false? To understand your attachment style and why you might be feeling far from God, consider how you deal with times of disconnection. Behavioral patterns, as we observe in our earthly relationships, can provide clues to the kind of attachment style we develop from our family of origin and could help us in our relationship with God. Is God not real to you when God is not being real with you? Huh? 1-800-920. See, God moves in mysterious ways. This is why we hold people to such high standards. You better tell me exactly what it is, but God gets a pass. We've created all types of intellectualizations. God moves in mysterious ways. You better not, hey, God is God, but you, Can your attachment style affect your relationship with God? Agree or disagree? If you have a shame-filled attachment style, it can be hard to imagine that God likes you. Ugh. True or false, your attachment style has much to say about your spiritual life, especially about the times you feel disconnected from God. You heard us talking about spiritual bypassing, haven't you? Yeah? Oh, this is interesting. How did John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth attachment theory revolutionize our understanding of our relationship with God? Do you have a transactional relationship with God? Does God matter when he provides? And does he not matter when he doesn't? I'm asking real questions tonight. 1-800-920-1580. I want to talk to everybody tonight. Is it possible to have an anxious attachment style with God? What? Wait, hold on. Let's get to that. What is an anxiously attached? How can you be anxiously attached to God? I'm interested to know. Are y'all interested to know? I want to know. How can you be anxiously attached to God? Well, let's see. Constant worry. You often find yourself worrying about whether God will meet your emotional, financial, psychological, or any other need, right? You worry about if God will comfort you. How many people out there worrying? 1-800-920-1580. Are you anxiously attached to God? This is how the anxious attachment style manifests in your relationship with God. Seeking reassurance. Can you get reassurance from God? 1-800-920-1580. You're always seeking reassurance from God, just like you seek reassurance from your partner. 1-800-920-1580. You frequently seek reassurance from religious texts, leaders, or rituals to alleviate feelings of insecurity in your relationship with God. Listen, I felt that way before, many times. I'm not here to judge you. I'm standing with you. We doing this together. Either we having this conversation together or we not having it at all. Get to your phone lines, 1-800-920-1580. Fear of abandonment. There is an underlying fear of being abandoned or neglected by God, leading to feelings of insecurity and anxiety, 1-800-920-1580. Are you anxiously attached in your relationship to God? Do you feel like God ain't gonna show up for you? Do you feel like God can't hear you? Listen, I've stood outside at 2 in the morning and said, God, do my prayers matter? Do I need somebody else to pray for me in order for you to hear my cry? Should I just recite Psalms 23? Should I recite Psalms 91, Psalms 57? Would you rather me just read the word? Is that how I get you to respond? Fear of abandonment. Are you over-dependent? Can you be over-dependent on God? You rely heavily on religious practices or prayers to alleviate anxiety and provide a sense of security. Well, after my mother had a nervous breakdown, she spent 12 hours a day in her prayer closet. Maybe that's overdependence. Hypersensitivity. Are you highly sensitive to perceived signs of disconnection from God, leading to heightened emotional distress? Can you be clingy with God? Bet nobody say nothing bad about my Lord. No. Do you fear that God will reject you? Are you seeking validation from God? Do you have a preoccupation with beliefs? When I come forward, the voice of reason, I'm going to break down the dismissive avoidant attachment style as it relates to God. Which one is yours? Get to your phone lines, 1-800-920-1580.
Reasons. The reasons that we're here, the reasons that we fear, our feelings won't disappear. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580. Tavis is like George and Wheezy. He's moving on up. Last year, Tavis was number 45 on the Talkers Magazine list of the 100 most important radio talk show hosts in America. Wait for it. Wait for it. The 2024 list was recently released, and Tavis has jumped to number 33 on the list of the nation's most important talkers, making him the highest-ranked African-American on the coveted roster. Congratulations to Tavis Smiley from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580. We've got you black.
Looks like Bobby needs a ride again.
Grab the keys.
Let's take our auntie to the swap meet.
Grab the keys.
Whether you're giving rides or hauling gear, do it all in a Chevy SUV. Head to your local Chevy dealer, where well-qualified buyers get 1.9% APR on all 2024 Silverado 1500, Blazer EV, Equinox, Trailblazer, and Colorado models. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
1.9% APR for 36 months. Monthly payment is $28.60 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment 17.0%. Must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 7/31/24.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA reminds you that when we fight, we win, and we don't black down. LA Community Action Network, or LA CAN, was formed in 1999 when 25 residents of downtown LA came together and acknowledged the problems that existed in their community and made a commitment to do something about those problems, to stand together, organize, and become a force in the community that demands change. Civil rights and preventing the criminalization of poverty are their core projects. In addition, they take on women's rights, the human right to housing, and healthy food access. LA CAN also has projects focused on economic development, civic participation, voter engagement, and community media. While downtown LA remains their home base, with a particular emphasis on the Skid Row community, in 2007, they expanded their housing and healthy food access work into South Central Los Angeles. LA CAN believes that power for low-income people and people of color is achieved through a large, active, and well-informed member base that utilizes a multitude of methods to advance their messages and goals. If you'd like to join the Los Angeles Community Action Network and organize people to fight back against oppression, please visit cangress.org. That's cangress.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
I had to stand on the shore and watch Zion's ships go sailing over. And I stood on the banks of Jordan. Oh yeah, I have seen all ships sailing. I stood right there on the banks of Jordan, and I had to see him go by. Then I began to talk to the Lord. I said, Lord,
I got my ticket.
Yes, I do. Please
do you feel about God? Not what you think about him. How do you feel about him? What do you imagine he feels about you? Thanks for joining me. I'm Dr. Carol. Our internal experience of God is an important part of how we relate to him and of our Christian experience. I hear from people regularly who intellectually believe that God is good, but they don't experience him that way. And there's a disconnect there. There's a struggle there. And that can create some really big hiccups in life in many ways, and in particular, your Christian walk and the kind of transformation that Jesus wants to bring to all of us. I have a special guest on the program today, Crispin Mayfield. This is the focus of his work. Crispin Mayfield has written a recent book, Attached to God, a practical guide to deeper spiritual experience. The whole attachment science area is something he cares a lot about. He's had a background in full-time ministry. Now he is a full-time therapist and helping people wrestle through some of these things. What do we as followers of Jesus do with this internal part of our experience? He is a licensed counselor, married with 2 children, living in the Northwest. He's an author and podcaster, has written for some large Christian organizations and magazines and so on. But in this conversation, we're going to get below the propositional truths about God and talk about how we experience him. And I think you will find this very fascinating. When I can have a conversation with someone in this way, I love how we start with a biblical foundation and then scientific evidence that's...
Ooh, tonight, the phone line's already cracking. It's going to be fire. Yes, people are having this conversation. So why not KBLA? Why not the voice of reason? If I could find intellectual resources, empirical studies out there where people are talking about this, why can't we have this discussion here? We got to stop being afraid. How is your attachment style? If it's insecure, if you are insecurely attached, the attachment style you got from childhood, how does that attachment style, whether it's anxious, preoccupied, whether you feel like you're chasing God, do you have to tell yourself, God knows me, God hears me, because really deep down inside, you don't feel heard or known by God? Do you have to say, God loves me? Because if you know God loves you, do you really have to declare it? Do you have to speak it? Do you have to say, God likes me? Do you have to say, you know what? I matter to God. Do you need to say that? God cares about me. Are you proclaiming it because you don't really feel it? What if you have a dismissive, avoidant attachment style to God, which is emotional detachment? A lot of people in the chat are expressing this now. You may exhibit emotional detachment in your relationship with God, keeping a distance and suppressing emotional expression. This is what the dismissive avoidant does when the relationship starts to encroach upon their ideation of independence. Self-reliance. Wait a minute. I did this. I built this. You rely heavily on self-reliance and avoid seeking comfort or support from God, displaying a pattern of self-sufficiency. I was determined. I put the work in. I deserved the credit for my life. I didn't have to read no book or believe in nothing. I built this. Are you of that mindset? The dismissive avoidant has a fear of vulnerability. There's an aversion to being vulnerable or dependent on God, right? Leading to an avoidance of seeking solace or reassurance. Many people are going through this right now. Minimal dependency. You have minimal dependency on God for emotional support or guidance. Preferring independence in managing life's challenges. 1-800-920-1580. Get to your phone line. Zoe's coming to y'all. Woo! I ain't going to go through all of them. It's time to get some callers on right now. We got people in the line. Come on, Detroit, Michigan. Yo, D is on the line. D, what are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Okay, can you repeat it the way that you said it just a minute ago?
Well, I said a lot just a minute ago. What exactly do you want me to repeat?
Just basically the attachment issue, because we all know that people can have separation anxiety. But it's just like with children when you have an empty nest. That's why when you get in a relationship, you should know we in it for the long run and not for the kids, because they're going to be out by 18 trying to prove to us that we did a good job. So, you know, it's more codependency and, yeah, it's more codependency.
Well, you know what, D? I actually agree with some of the things that you were saying. And guess what? I appreciate you being the first caller up in here. D, guess what you just did?
I brought the first caller from Detroit up in here.
Detroit! You know, what up, though? We appreciate the call. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call us at 1-800-920-1580. Listen, when I come forward, I'm going back to the phone lines. Y'all want to talk? I want to talk. Let's talk about it. How has your maladaptive attachment style affected your relationship to God?
On the banks of Jordan, and I heard I stood there on the banks of Jordan.
He's on fire tonight. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. Vice President Kamala Harris might have one of the cleanest financial portfolios you'll see in a politician. That's according to public financial disclosures. The presidential candidate filed a public financial disclosure report for 2023, revealing she favors passively managed index funds, which essentially means there's no way for her to game the system by trading on inside information. A group of senators is pushing for a bill that would prohibit members of Congress from buying certain investments like individual stocks. A Senate panel will vote this week to approve the bill, but it's unclear whether it will eventually become law. Another large donation is going to help North Carolina's Livingstone College grow into the future. An anonymous donor recently gave the HBCU $10 million, which will help with construction projects. It's the largest single donation for the school. That same donor reportedly gave Livingstone $7 million within the last year. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Hey DQ fans, mark your calendars. Thursday, July 25th is Miracle Treat Day 2024. $1 or more of every Blizzard treat sold at participating DQ locations benefits your local children's hospital. Remember, July 25th, only at DQ. Happy, taste good.
Follow the leader.
KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Follow the leader. Oh my God. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment through the arts. Tia Chucha Central Cultural is on a mission to transform community in the Northeast San Fernando Valley and beyond through ancestral knowledge, the arts, literacy, and creative engagement. The Northeast San Fernando Valley has a population of about 500,000, the size of the city of Oakland, yet it has no bookstores, art galleries, or full-fledged cultural spaces until Tia Chuchas opened its doors in 2001. Founded by renowned poet and activist Luis Rodriguez, Tia Chuchas Cultural Center provides a year-round free or low-cost arts and literacy bilingual intergenerational programming in mural painting, music, dance, writing, visual arts, healing art sessions, and healing talking circles. Activities also include Mexica, Aztec dance, indigenous cosmology, philosophy, and 2 weekly open mic nights, one in Spanish, the other in English. In addition, they host author readings, film screenings, and art exhibits. To express yourself, heal yourself, attend an event, or volunteer, please visit www.tiachucha.org. That's TIACHUCHA.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Helping to broaden your political and moral imagination with our 2024 Climate Justice Campaign. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
Eggs are a staple in our diets, and there's only one egg with more delicious farm-fresh taste plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best. With more vitamins, including 6 times more vitamin D and 10 times more vitamin E, plus 25% less saturated fat than ordinary eggs. Available in so many delicious varieties: classic, cage-free, and organic. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles is a nonprofit law firm that protects and advances the rights of the most underserved, leveling the playing field and ensuring that everyone can have access to the justice system. Every year, LAFLA provides free, high-quality legal services to more than 100,000 people living in poverty across greater Los Angeles. Their unique combination of neighborhood offices, self-help centers at courthouses, and domestic violence clinics puts Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles on the front lines in vulnerable communities and at the forefront of change. LAFLA's expert team of attorneys, paralegals, and support staff works to provide direct representation, offer counsel and advice, provide referrals, and educate the community about their legal rights through workshops and seminars. With locations all over LA, you can access their services or volunteer to help no matter where you live. And if you have an urgent issue, call 213-235-0060. That's 213-235-0060. To get legal help, make a donation, or volunteer, visit LAFLA.org. LAFLA.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 invites you to join us for a book party celebrating The Covenant with Black America 20 years later. Almost 2 decades ago, the Covenant book, compiled and edited by Tavis Smiley, climbed to #1 on the New York Times bestsellers list and stayed there for weeks. The first book by a Black-owned publisher to achieve such a feat. The urgency of the issues that matter most to Black fellow citizens has only intensified, especially in this critical election year. On Wednesday evening, August 14th, 6 to 9 p.m., come meet Tavis Smiley alongside Covenant contributors including Cornel West, Connie Rice, Mark Ridley Thomas, Elisa Orduna, Tyrone Howard, and Melina Abdullah as they sign copies of The Covenant with Black America 20 years later. You can purchase your books on site and get them autographed. That's Wednesday evening, August 14th, 6 to 9 p.m. in the city of Los Angeles. Admission is free, but you must register at KBLA1580.com. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black. You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm sitting here thinking
Oh, Lord. About all the trouble I've had, Lord. How my so-called friends have mistreated and talked about me. They made me feel so bad. I kept going. Praise your holy name, Lord. My Father in heaven, I know you got all power in your hands. If it's your will, help me understand the things I can't change. I can't change the sun.
Hi, I'm Dr. Tracy Marks, a psychiatrist, and I make mental health education videos. Today, I'm talking about attachment styles and how they affect your relationships. Attachment refers to the bond that you form with people in close relationships, such as your parents, children, close friends, or romantic partners. Attachment theory was first developed by psychologists John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth, but it has since been expanded upon by other researchers. And there's a few different models with different terms, but I'm going to focus on the original 3 types of attachment styles: secure, insecure anxious, and insecure avoidant. The 2 insecure styles can be summed up as anxiety about being abandoned or avoiding intimacy and closeness. What does this look like as an adult? If you have a secure attachment style, you feel comfortable letting people get to know you, and you feel content that you can rely on the person to be there when you need them. If you have an anxious attachment style, you tend to be clingy in relationships, and you're always on alert for the smallest sign of rejection. You don't trust very easily, and it can be a roller coaster of emotions for you. You can end up with a lot of broken relationships because you drive people away with the suspicions. Also, your fear of rejection can lead you to end a relationship so that you can avoid being rejected or abandoned by the other person. So you initiate the breakup. If you have an avoidant attachment style, you can appear aloof and distant in relationships. Essentially, you're not very reactive to things. If you feel threatened in a relationship, you may ignore the threat and rely on your own personal resources to get you through the crisis. It's like complete psychological independence. Your partner or friend can feel like, you don't need me. That's how it can look.
Dr. Tracy never plays games, man. Attachment styles play a crucial role in shaping our relationships with others. But what about our relationship with God? Can our early insecure childhood attachment styles negatively affect how we perceive and connect with a higher power? These are complex questions that require a deep explanation and exploration of attachment theory, spirituality, and personal growth. To begin with, it is essential to understand the work of John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth. They are pioneers in the field of attachment theory. All right? Very important. When we apply their framework to our relationship with God, intriguing parallels emerge. Just as our attachment style in earthly relationships can impact our emotional well-being and behavior, it can also influence how we relate to a higher power. If we have a secure attachment style categorized by trust, or characterized by trust, comfort with intimacy, and effective emotional regulation, we may find it easier to connect with God in many meaningful ways. On the other hand, individuals with insecure attachment styles may suffer and struggle to establish a deep, fulfilling relationship with God. For example, those with an an anxious, preoccupied attachment style marked by a fear of abandonment and a constant need for reassurance may find it challenging to trust in God's unconditional love and acceptance. Similarly, individuals with a dismissive avoidant attachment style who tend to downplay emotions and avoid intimacy may find it difficult forming a genuine connection with the spiritual entity. This is heavy stuff. Are y'all ready for tonight's topic? We got callers all over the country. I want to talk to y'all. Tell me your attachment style. And also, tell me how it manifests in your relationship with God. We got Kiona, Sacramento, California. Get up in here.
Okay, so this is the first time I can actually say that I don't know, because I don't really adhere to any of the ways that Dr. Tracy, is that what her name is, described any of it. And that's what I struggle with, I think, with my connection with God. And I'm hoping that you can chime in, since you've been drawing me in for the last few weeks with your different topics.
Oh.
So I think that I am overly comfortable with God, and a little bit too, but at the same token, that translates into my relationships in the real world, to the point where I can't connect with others in the way that I should be able to. So I don't know what that's called.
That's interesting.
My father was killed by the Sacramento Police Department, which I say you keep drawing me in, because you did Sonia Massey this morning. Well, this afternoon for me, because I'm on the East Coast now. With police deaths and things as such. My father, William Singleton, in 82, was one of those people. In 82, I was only 3 months old. Wow. And my mother moved on very quickly and had other children, had another child. And so largely, God has never been a question for me. That was often who I was connected to, who I relied on, who I talked to, even in the face of ridicule and people telling me that I'm crazy. That's always been a given for me. I take that for granted. So I say I think I'm overly comfortable with God and unable to attach with other people, because I have only really had him and been led to study him and study it.
Wait a minute.
I don't consider God a him or a her. It's a...
Wait. This is deep.
The highest.
Yes, and I'm with
the
you.
Highest.
Yes, I'm with you on all of that.
Consciousness.
But this is deep. My question is, you say you didn't really have anybody, but you had your mom. What was your relationship like with your mother?
I was the child that they wanted to forget, that she wanted to forget. I just said my father was killed in 82
I remember
by
that.
the police. They went through civil cases and everything. His name was William Singleton Jr. And after they lost case after case after case, I was kind of the thing that everybody wanted to forget. They loved me. I was there, but I wasn't something that anybody really wanted to pay attention to.
So,
when George Floyd died, I used to say, I'm George Floyd's daughter, and I want to see how she is when she's older, because I was that kid. Is everybody going to move on and act like it's a thing of the past, and she gets forgotten in the interim, and all she has is her God and studies of God?
Right.
I mean, it led me to study Hinduism, Buddhism, everything under the sun, which led me to God is the most high consciousness, and we all have it. And that's what I rely on. But it keeps me from connecting with other people.
So can I ask you this question yet again? And what I would like for you to do is contemplate for a moment as we come forward. I'm going to ask you again, and I'm asking your permission to ask you this again. Please think about it deeply. I want you to talk to me and, be as open and transparent as you possibly can regarding your relationship with your mother. Now, I heard, and condolences to you regarding your father, and I understand you probably being triggered like a mug when you see police officers do what they've been doing because of your history, because of what you've been through. But I really want to know about your relationship.
I don't talk to her.
I know. Just stay with me. I'm with you. I got you. But I can feel the trigger in you right now regarding her. So when we come forward, we gonna get back with our good friend Kiana.
Is it good to you? More Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams when we come forward.
Tips to help improve basic steps for building a budget in 2024. Building a budget can help you achieve and reach your financial goals. With a budget, you can keep track of your spending, avoid and get out of debt, limit overspending, pay bills on time, and build solid savings habits. What's the best way to get started? Figure out how much to set aside for expenses, like rent, mortgage, bills, groceries, and entertainment. Understanding your past financial habits can help you make the proper adjustments for your budget. Adjusting to a budget can take time as you work to find the right balance, but keep working on it. For more financial health tips, visit chase.com or stop by a local branch. This segment is sponsored by J.P. Morgan Chase & Company.
Looks like Bobby needs a ride again.
Grab the keys. Let's take our auntie to the swap meet.
Grab the keys. Whether you're giving rides or hauling gear, do it all in a Chevy SUV. Head to your local Chevy dealer, where well-qualified buyers get 1.9% APR on all 2024 Silverado 1500, Blazer EV, Equinox, Trailblazer, and Colorado models. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
1.9% APR for 36 months. Monthly payment is $28.60 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment 17.0%. Must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 7/31/24.
Hey LA, be an eco-friendly hero. Join LADWP's Power Savers program and use your smart thermostat to help ease strain on the electric grid during peak electric demand. You'll save electricity while you lower your bill. Plus, as a power saver, you can get up to $185 in prepaid gift cards. Don't have a smart thermostat? No problem. Shop and sign up at ladwp.com/powersaversprogram program. That's ladwp.com/powersaversprogram. To help combat climate change, LADWP is helping neighborhoods have better access to electric vehicles by awarding nearly $130 million in EV rebates to customers just like you. From big savings on used EVs to building new charging plazas, LADWP is charging ahead to help all Angelinos experience the benefits of EVs. Get rebates of up to $4,000 for a used EV and $1,750 for a charger. Learn more at ladwp.com/EV. That's ladwp.com/EV.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
You know you want some more. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Saw the best in me when everyone else around me could only see the worst in me. I wish I had a witness tonight. Said he saw the best in me. I guess I'm the only one that got this testimony. When everyone else around me could only see the worst in me. Can I tell y'all one more time? I said he saw the best in me. When everyone else around me could only see the worst in me. I wish I had a witness tonight. All I need is one. Hey, he saw the best in me. When everyone else around me, yeah.
Everyone else around
can only see.
Can only see the worst in me.
Does anybody have that testimony? When folk wrote you off, said you would never make it, what did he see?
He saw the best in me.
When everyone else around me is, oh.
When everyone else around
can
only see the worst in me.
Can I tell y'all one more thing?
There is an eternal life there. There is a level at which the essence of that person, you know it beyond explanations, is eternal. You speak often about non-attachment. I can understand non-attachment to objects, but I can't comprehend non-attachment to my children or family. How can one be non-attached to those we love? Good question. The question I can understand, non-attachment to things. Okay. Now, non-attachment to things, let's talk about that for a moment. Non-attachment to things does not mean not appreciating things, but it means not seeking yourself or to regard things as an extension of yourself, or think of things as needing them to add to your...
You know, I love me some Eckhart Tolle. Don't be attached to things. Oh, this is a heavy topic, and I just wanted to get back to Kiona, because, Kiona, let me just say, you are under no obligation to talk to me, sweetheart. Just know that. And I appreciate you just being open and feeling like this is a safe space enough for you to share. I just need you to know that.
I share anyway. I'm on a journey to find my community and where I'm supposed to add the most and how I can grow the most, because thus far I haven't been able to. My own community, I feel like, rejects me. You asked me what I felt like my relationship with my mother is. It's one of disappointment. I gymnast, cheerleader, honor student, tried to get in I still got in trouble, but I tried to get in as least trouble as possible, already rejected because of what my father's situation was, and nobody wants to remember that. When your son, when your husband, when your father gets killed, when your brother gets killed in the manner that he did, nobody wants to remember that, especially when it didn't result in a way that was resolved in justice. Nobody wants to remember that, and I'm the remnants of that. I understand that. But at the same token, I feel like I got caught in the crossfire, and people reject me for things that are not my fault or my responsibility. And honestly, I feel like they should have been there for me to at least try to compensate. There's no compensation for that. So what I did was I turned to God in whatever form people deem it to be. My definition as such is a little different than most, which was why I started listening to you way back when, because of the things that you talk about. But that leaves me also feeling like an alien in the society where I'm not the norm. There are lots at this point of Black men and women that have been killed unjustly by the police. But in the larger scope of things, we're still the offspring of such are still a minor community or a minority. And I don't think that even the people who are around understand the way that affects our relationships and what paths we tend to go on. So when I say that I'm overly comfortable with God and I really don't know where to place myself or where to go from there, I say that because I've studied it in all its forms, and I've decided what most Christians call the Most High, and that translates across many belief systems and religions. They don't understand the relationship that some of us build with him, and I feel like I'm overly comfortable because he's my best friend, and I feel like I'm entitled to get pissed off with him. We have arguments. You know what? And I don't mean like I'm hearing voices or anything crazy like that, but I mean, you know, there are situations that I know it is of God, and I know that it's meant for my growth, and it's meant for the path that I'm supposed to go on, or whatever it is that I'm supposed to contribute to the society. But at the same token, there are days where I feel like, and I'm sorry if I offend anybody, I feel like, F you, leave me alone, give me some freaking peace. You know, I go from having my father killed to having a pedophile for a first husband and a straight up psychopath for a second husband and a potential for a third baby daddy. And I know that part of it is my choices, but the other part of it is the people that God puts in our paths for us to make a change or for them to change us and for us to grow. So I understand the balance part of it, but there are days where I feel like, leave me alone. And I don't feel like I don't respect him or the people around me. I don't feel like I don't understand it or I don't understand the power of it. There are just days where I feel like, leave me alone. I understand that you have something for me, but maybe I don't want to deal with it that day. And I don't really feel like I have a community because I don't think that that's a perspective that a lot of people have. And I try to read, you know, I look at whatever reading I can and whoever experts I can, and I don't feel, and that's why I said at the beginning of the conversation, maybe you can help me with the attachment style that I'm going through, because I can honestly say right now, I don't know.
I'm going to try, but let me just say this. You are heard, you are loved, you are seen, you are respected for sharing. Stay with me. When we come forward, we'll try to point you in some direction, okay?
It doesn't matter what I did. He only sees me for who I am. Does anybody know that tonight? Oh, see, he is mine and I am his. Said it doesn't matter what I did.